Yeah, I think we have three angles on Chinagate. Can we call it Chinagate yet? Sheila, can we put on the suffix gate to
I
China?
don't know.
To I
I
don't know
don't
if we're there.
know.
But when do we get to the video? This can't be right. My eyes must be deceiving me. Mark Gerritsen issues a threat
Oh my
to
God.
beat
This
up
is, he
Kevin
is the
Blanc.
dumbest. He's the dumbest. I at first I thought, no, he's just a rabid liberal with an office full of other rabid liberals. And so that's why no one has taken his phone away and no one has talked sense to him on his staff. Because I think part of your job, like staff members' jobs or in and around politicians, is to remind them not to say and do crazy things, or like to be that like sober second thought. Like, hey, Mark, don't say that. Don't do that. Actually, if you're a crazy person, would you mind reading from this prepared script instead of ad-libbing like a maniac all the time? Oh, once in a while, Mark does make it into my top 5 dumbest liberals, and he's been there consistently for about 3 weeks now, just out of control on Twitter, and apparently now threatening to beat up a former colleague, literally a former colleague. Kevin Wong used to be a liberal, and now he's going to beat him up outside the House of Commons. What an
Unbelievable.
idiot.
Before we get to that clip, Sheila, let me guess your top 5 dumbest liberals. Is Seamus O'Regan in number 1 still?
Number 1, number 2. Yeah.
Okay, that I think that might be a bridge too far in terms of other liberals outdoing Seamus O'Regan in the stupidity department. But let's check out this video. It's unbelievable.
The problem is, what party line? The Liberal parties or the Communist Party of China's? I call upon the government to step up and provide strong investigatory powers to the special rapporteur so that Mr. Johnson can unearth names and evidence of foreign interference in Canada, and especially in Vancouver and Toronto during the last 2 elections. Canadians deserve and demand to know what's going on. They want to see concrete action taken to protect our political and democratic processes and institutions from foreign manipulation. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary.
If I understood that member correctly, Mr. Speaker, he just asked and questioned whether I was towing a Liberal Party line or a Communist Party of China line. My response to that member is, let's go outside and say it to me in public, where you do not have the parliamentary privilege that you have in this room.
Oh, Sheila, isn't this what blackface meant by anti-Asian hatred? When these allegations first arose, just to criticize verbally Chinese interference with Chinese Canadian MPs, blackface said, you are guilty of racism, you are guilty of anti-Asian hate. And here we have Gerritsen talking about a physical altercation. Everybody knows what that means. Take it outside. What is this guy thinking? What Sheila, this is staggering to me.
I don't know what Kevin Wong was ever doing in the Liberal Party, by the way. Like, I'm not sure. He seems like a pretty, like, okay, level-headed guy, not like the crazy people who currently occupy the Liberal Party. Like, his parents were Vietnamese refugees. He served in, I think he's a naval reservist. Yeah, he's a naval reservist. He's willing to give his former colleagues in the Liberal Party the business. But you know what? Honestly, I kind of would like to see that fight. Like the petty part of me is like, yes, go outside. Go outside, Mark. Kevin, go outside and fight. I do want to see that. And I think a lot of our viewers would agree with me.
Well, and you know what? We can do it via the rules of Queensberry, Sheila. I mean, Blackface himself has stepped into the boxing ring with an opponent. I'm going back about 10 years now, of course. What was the name of that senator, the Indigenous gentleman, Sheila, that Trudeau boxed with and incredibly won?
Oh,
boy.
Patrick. Yeah, I can't remember. Darn it, I can't remember.
Brazeau. That's right.
Pat Brazeau. Yeah, and Justin Trudeau wanted to cut his hair.
Boy,
afterwards.
Did
So
I
gross.
lose money on that wager, Sheila? We
bet
were
you did.
heavily promoting that back in the days of Sun News. You can see a clip. Brazil, like look at those pythons on Brazo. I thought it was going to be an early round knockout. However, nobody told me that Brazo smokes 2 packs of cigarettes a day.
That'll do it.
So it wasn't
That'll
a
do
matter
it.
of running out of gas. It was a matter of the gas tank falling off the truck because this guy, like I'm just watching the highlights here, his only chance was to score a knockout very early because as this goes on, Brazo's cardio is going down and down and down. And Trudeau just goes on to rope-a-dope, if you will.
Yeah. And I remember one of the things Trudeau wanted to do if he won was to cut Patrick Brazo's hair, which is such a great indignity to be done to an Indigenous man. But Justin Trudeau wanted to humiliate him in the worst way possible. Like, it's one thing to, well, congratulations, you beat a guy who smokes 2 packs a day and who arguably had a drug addiction at that very same time. So good job, Justin, a real winner. But then you have to humiliate him in the most disgusting, racist way. What a gross man.
I'd love to get into the ring with Justin Trudeau.
Sure.
Admittedly, I would bring a foreign object with me.
I want to fight Mark Gerritsen.
Yeah, why not? Maybe that can be our next promo. But and I know nothing
Foxy
about
boxing with Sheila and Mark Gerritsen. That's a real winner.
I'll go watch Rocky for some inspiration.
Yeah, I just want to see you run up the stairs and chase the pigeons.
Now, here's something. Han Dong, believing, I guess, Sheila, that the best defense is an offense. He is taking legal action against Global News and its parent company, Chorus Entertainment. I remember I used to go on the Chorus Entertainment radio station, AM 640 in Toronto, for years and years. And now I'm not allowed to come into the building.
Me too. They just, but they didn't tell me why. They just quit asking me.
Yeah. They just no, he's toxic. Don't let him in here.
I just remember, I was like, God, it's been a while since I did that show. And then I'm like, okay. I get it. They ghosted me a little bit.
So, Sheila, what do you think of this? Is this, we have to consider, has Han Dong been, unjustifiably linked to Chinese interference? Or is he just doing this for so much kabuki theater? Oh, you've hurt me. You've hurt my reputation, my family name. And he knows he might not have a shot at it, but this is going to try to make him look good until the allegations are proven.
Well, he's got to do something, doesn't he? So what it sounds like here is, and this is related to what he says is a misinterpretation of a transcription from Mandarin to English on the issue of the 2 Michaels. So it is alleged, don't sue me, Dong, that it's alleged that he told the Chinese diplomats to keep the 2 Michaels in jail and not release them, at least for a little bit, because releasing them would help the Conservatives in the last election. And he is saying that it is a mistranscription from the Mandarin to English. What he called for was an immediate release. Now, I don't know if I don't know if you know this about me, but I don't speak Mandarin. And none of this actually changes the fact that he was acting as a back channel to the Chinese. What are you doing? By the way. And secondarily, it doesn't change the fact that he had all those crazy nomination issues that caused CSIS to ring the alarm bells in the first place, that caused CSIS to go directly to the Liberal Party brass and say, you guys cannot approve this nomination. There are some crazy, crazy things happening there, including elderly Chinese people showing up with his name written on their arm to vote, and foreign students threatened to have their visas revoked if they didn't vote for him in the nomination in Don Valley East, or Don Valley North, I'm sorry. which was unnecessary meddling by the CCP if they just wanted to get a Liberal elected, because this was a Liberal riding. They would have won it if they ran a sack of potatoes with a red tie tied around his neck. So like a Mark Garretson. They would have won if they ran a mush-headed Mark Garretson. So they what's clear is they wanted their guy in that riding, and their guy being this guy. So he can get mad about the mistranscription, and quite possibly it did damage his reputation, because if it is true, I've got lots of thoughts about the kind of person that he is. But I don't think any of that changes the fact that the CCP likely meddled to get him into his position as an MP.
Yeah. So when Mr. Dong, Sheila, plays the lost in translation card, well, we'll find out. Well, let's get our hands on those manuscripts. Let's see if this was indeed mistranslated. Well, how does that explain that on 2 occasions, at the last second, he walked out on a vote condemning China for the Uyghur genocide that's going on there? I mean, the only way I interpret that, Sheila, is he didn't want to come across as being politically incorrect, not to the current government, but to the Mandarins in Beijing. That's the only way I can read that. I mean, twice he did that. What's the explanation?
Well, that's the thing. What is the explanation? And also, if we look at the other story that we have on the board to talk about Han Dong, what's the explanation for this thing? I got to hand it to the guys at the Breaker. They do great work. This headline is just Dong dinged taxpayers for trip to meet pro-CCP groups and Chinese diplomat in Vancouver. So again, he can sue Global into the dirt. Quite frankly, that's one that I hope everybody loses. Like, we'll just sue each other until there's nothing left, until there's just like a pile of ash where either one was standing. I'm fine. I'm happy with that. But how does he explain this then? So Han Dong, the backbench MP who quit the Liberal caucus March 22nd, charged taxpayers for a trip to Vancouver last summer, where he met with groups friendly to the Chinese Communist Party and socialized with the Chinese diplomat. So Dong, who represented Don Valley North in Toronto since 2019, disclosed a 239173 bill for transportation. Oh my God. Anyways, that's a lot of money for just transportation. July 28th to August 5th, 2022, to attend meetings with stakeholders about business of the House. Oh, really? He did not charge for accommodation and meals. Dong's only other travel expenses are for occasional transport between his riding and Ottawa. Conservative Kenny Chiu, who was the Stevenston Richmond MP from 2019 to 2021, called Dong's trip to the West Coast questionable. If you are not conducting any committee business, or if you are not fulfilling any duty because of your portfolio, then it becomes a bit questionable and weird, Chiu said, because his riding is Don Valley North, which is quite a few thousand kilometers away from Greater Vancouver. Chiu wondered how Dong, who is neither a cabinet minister nor a parliamentary secretary, justified his trip to Vancouver. No kidding. And as we know, Kenny Chiu, Conservative MP for that riding, he lost his seat. He and Alice Wong lost their seats to freedom-loving, ethnically Chinese Conservative members of Parliament, lost their seats due to Chinese meddling because Justin Trudeau allowed it. While he prattles on about protecting our democracy, he doesn't really care about protecting his democracy. He cares about protecting his stranglehold on power. And that's why he was willing to just turn a blind eye to the problems of Kenny Chiu, or problems in Kenny Chiu's riding and Alice Wong's riding and Han Dong's riding, and I think at least 11 others.
Yeah, and even though Mr. Dong was in Vancouver, as you said, thousands of kilometers away from his riding of Don Valley North, Sheila, what is it with that riding? Because I don't know if all of our viewers know, but the provincial member of Parliament, Vincent Ka, he's also sitting as an independent. Guess what? He represents the riding of Don Valley North. But
what did you call it? The People's Republic of Don Valley North.
That's what I'm thinking, but let's not worry, folks, because Blackface, he's got a special rapporteur on the case. In other words, Johnson is investigating a dong on this National Viagra Day. Anyway.
I never should have mentioned it. I just thought it was so easy. I thought you'd have a lot of fun with it, but now I regret it. The whole day is going to be like this. That's a clip from something we call Rebel News Daily. It's our daily live stream hosted by my friend David Menzies, but the show also includes a rotating cast of hosts and special guests, including me. It's a great way for us to talk about the news of the day as the news is happening in an unscripted fashion, and it's an awesome way for you to interact with us as well. We stream every weekday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Mountain, wherever you find Rebel News. See you there.